Kuwait. The phones from Kuwait City have been cut, but one man has access to a satellite link with London.
Hello, how are you doing?
Communication is irregular and dangerous.
Listen, I'm going to pass you on to BBC Newsnight, who are here. They're going to ask you a few questions about conditions inside Kuwait. Thank you.
Hello. I just want to ask a couple of questions about the situation in Kuwait City today.
This is the first day we have the sun, and that means a lot of air raid activities. We've had about at least 10 air raids, and the whole of Kuwait City was vibrating since the morning. We're hearing heavy bombing now.
Now, as we speak?
Yes.
What directions is it coming from?
It's one moment, let me look. It looks like coming from the commercial center, the Kuwait. We can only a big noise coming out, and there's flashes of red light coming from there.
The Allied bombing missions have raised Kuwaiti morale. When the attacks began, Iraqi troops in Kuwait City took shelter, even though the capital was rarely targeted. Now our contact says they've recovered from their initial shock.
Now they're back into business. They caught some men, and they were kept for about 3 to 2 days. And then 2 days ago, 6 of them were thrown in front of their houses, being shot in the head. And today there's a report of 8 bodies being thrown into a hospital in Kuwait.
From the information that we have gotten from inside Kuwait, is that about 3,000 young men and older have been picked up over the last 12 days. And all these have been rounded up, I believe, because the Iraqis are very concerned about the resistance starting to fight again and starting to have all the activities that they had at the beginning of the invasion against the Iraqis.
Some of the heavy equipment and units of the Republican Guard have now pulled out of Kuwait City, leaving the regular army and mukhabarat, or secret service, in control. They're armed with weapons which can be easily moved around the city in cars. The mass of Iraq's forces are on the borders. Our caller in Kuwait City has given us new information about the deployment of Iraqi troops behind the front lines. In Kuwait City itself, tanks and gun emplacements have been set up at major road junctions, often in tall buildings next to flyovers. Some troops are based in schools and sports halls, but many are billeted in the outer suburbs, where they've taken over empty houses. To the south of the city, close to the airport, there are 2 Iraqi army camps with ammunition and supply dumps. These have already been raided by the Allies. Iraqi casualties have been taken to a hospital in Al-Fahahil, to the east, and to Al-Jara, west of Kuwait City. There's speculation that these 2 hospitals may have taken the overflow from the military hospital in the city. News of the devastating attacks on Baghdad have concentrated minds in Kuwait on how the Allies propose to retake the capital. Our contact in Kuwait City thinks there's a lot the resistance could do to help.
There's a lot of resistance. Then the first priority is for them to secure their areas, and then to give guidance to the army that comes in. It's not as organized as we'd like it to have, but definitely there's a lot of small groups in each area. You know, I think it'll be well, you know, they could manage the whole thing if given the chance. It's our country, and we have to fight for it.
The resistance could help in the event that Allied forces chose to lay siege to the capital, rather than try and fight for it street by street. The supply routes that would have to be cut are the Al-Jara Road and the 6th Ring Road to the west, and the Al-Safra and Al-Fahahil motorways on the east coast. The Al-Wafra Dirt Road would also have to be closed down. This man knows Kuwait's supply routes well. To safeguard friends in Kuwait, he must remain anonymous.
I think it would be a good idea to cut the roads. It will, first of all, destroy the supplies. This will reduce the morale of the Iraqi soldiers, who are the lowest of all the Iraqi soldiers, and it will probably bring the resistance out onto the streets when they see a demoralized army. But then again, we do not know what equipment that the resistance have.
At the Association for a Free Kuwait, they hope that the liberation of Kuwait City, however that's achieved, will at least come quickly, to bring an end to the Iraqi occupation and the dangers it holds for the Kuwaitis who are still there. What do you think would happen to you if you got caught?
The worst thing that could happen, I'll get killed. And I think, you know, there's a lot of people that got executed and fought for Kuwait, so I'm just adding one into the count.